Come on, you hole. Good morning. Good morning, guys. Come on, Pierce. Don't be an asshole. Pierce, come on. How is everybody this morning? Don't you jump that gate, sir. Sir, come on. Come here, you cow. Pierce. Come on. Oh, my God. The joys of a 200-pound puppy. And yes, I said 200-pound puppy. Gotta make sure my kids don't jump the gate. Good morning, Katie. Good morning, Ray. Oh, man. New England. Isn't it great? My dog leads Frozen. Go on, big boy. Oh, my God. The piles of shit that I have to get rid of out here. It's ridiculous. I know where Pierce goes. Pierce went outside. He went outside to do dog things. So this morning, guys, I am actually kind of hyped up and excited about this. And y'all know, I know how much y'all love it when I get hyped up about shit and get loud. Oh, fuck. But I want to briefly, not even briefly, I would love to talk about this for the morning. Talk about being a mama bear. Oh, it's a cat tree. I'm talking about being a mama bear. I don't know how many of y'all have experience in here about being a mama bear or maybe a mama llama. You're cute and fuzzy, but if someone comes at you, you kick them in the face. So I don't know how many of y'all have kids or have experience with that. But you guys have seen me get pretty loud and aggressive before when it comes to my kids, especially Phineas. And it's because I have... So it's okay to come for me on the internet, you know what I mean? It's okay to be like, oh, you're a shitty mom. Oh, you have mental illness. You can't be a mom. You're probably a serial killer. You know, that kind of crazy shit. And I hear that quite often. And I'm fine with that because, I'm mentally ill. I came to expect once I chose to have children that people were going to tell me what a trash person I was because I decided to have kids and potentially pass that on to them genetically. And, yeah. There is 150% a chance that I am passing my mental illness on genetically to my children. And I'm about to say something a little bit controversial here right now, but that's okay. Don't know if anybody knew that, but that's okay. That's okay to be mentally ill and decide that you want to have children and potentially genetically pass your mental illness onto your children because, mental illness is so fucking horrible. Mental illness is so terrible that you should not fucking procreate because you might have children that have a little bit of extra anxiety or, they have an issue. I think what some people need to understand is that you don't have to have mental illness for your children to be born with mental illness. Like, that's not how that shit works. Like, not even a little bit. And people come at me often and they're like, well, Finn's the way he is because you're fucking mentally ill. I'm sorry, what? Well, Finn's the way he is because you're mentally ill. If you never had children, then you wouldn't have to be worried about having this child with behavioral health issues. I'm sorry, what? If you didn't have mental illness and had kids, there would be nothing wrong with your child. I'm sorry, there's something wrong with my child? What? Excuse me? But these are just some of the common things I hear regularly. When I got pregnant, forget it. The things people said to me were absolutely it was psychotic shit. Absolutely psychotic shit. People around here were literally like, oh my God, I can't believe she's going to have a baby. She's going to be the worst mother on the planet. Mentally ill people cannot have productive children. They don't add anything to society. The stigmas that are thrown at them. And when I was pregnant, it hurt. It hurt me. It hurt my heart that people doubted me like that. Now, after I had my children, it actually turned me into some psychotic fucking rabid animal when it came to my children, even though they do psychotic bullshit like this. Not that that's psychotic, but, he knows I hate it.
Mommy,
please don't play with the lights. Let's watch.
I want them off.
Okay, you want them off. Go beat it. Go be a kid. I'm trying to find the moat for you. So, I was very accepting of it, and like, yes, it hurt, but whatever. Oh my god, I can't talk this morning. Car toys on YouTube. So, car toys on YouTube. So I kind of took it all with a grain of salt when I was pregnant, and then after I had my kids, all bets were off. Hold on, I have a guest. I'll know who this is. So, I turned into this psychopathic person that was like, do not come for my fucking kids. Good morning, Christine.
Good morning.
Do not come for my kids. And a personal attack on me and my mental illness became a personal attack on my children.
Good morning, Amber.
Could you understand that, Christine? A personal attack on me about my mental illness after I had the kids became a personal attack on the kids. And it's because people were basically telling me that I could not turn out or produce or raise productive children. Yep. And that is like, oh, that's great, horse lover. Are you is it like, good discharge or bad discharge? No, people will never understand and they will judge. Christine, I'm sure you faced this in your own life. We have talked some, and you've said to me, I'm sure I have something, but I don't know what the fuck it is.
Right. Yeah. And that was very apparent yesterday with what I was doing. I'm 100% ADD. I need meds.
But don't mind them. But yeah, it became very personal, and it was because people were doubting my children. Like, my kids are toddlers. They haven't even had a chance to become productive people within society or society's limits. People are basically telling me that they are not going to be productive because I potentially pass something on to them. And now here's my thought on that. Here's where fucking Mama Bear comes out. Why do my shortcomings, why are they projected onto my children who are 2 and 3?
I think what people say to you that really irritates me most is like they pretend like you are psychoanalyzing every little thing your kids do and trying to find your mental illness in them. And that's not.
I absolutely did that the first year for Finn.
But okay, that's not necessarily wrong.
No.
Looking for it and being scared that it might be there is not wrong.
Then that's exactly what it was. And, Finn was my first child, and I learned a lot with Finn. I was in therapy regularly, and I still am, but I learned a lot with Finn, and that's that I cannot sit here and look for these things and almost and project them, because just because I have it doesn't mean he does.
Right.
And there are things that normal children do that can appear at this age as more. I mean, he's had absolute shit fits where I'm like, yo, dude, how are you having an anxiety attack at fucking 2 years old?
Well, okay, so let's just take a temper tantrum for a neurotypical, normal, whatever you want to call it, 2-year-old. Temper tantrums are psychotic. They're crazy.
Yeah.
They come across as being pretty much every mental illness under the sun. You could you could take a kid that has a wild imagination at 3 years old and think they're schizophrenic. Toddlers are mentally ill. They look mentally ill.
They really are like miniature mentally ill people.
They
are. They really are. They're miniature mentally ill people. It's absolutely hilarious to me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, my kids seem extremely unstable at times, and it's because they are. They are. Like, now that you say this, they are, because they don't even understand all those big emotions. So they come across as the most bipolar fucking beings on the planet. I look at them, I'm like, I'm bipolar. I am bipolar. What is this? You just had 10 different fucking moods in 2 seconds. Over a fucking yellow cup. Good morning, Maxine. Straight up over a yellow cup. Like, you decided it was a good time to have a fucking mental breakdown over a fucking yellow cup and act like a goddamn psychopath. And
yes, that exactly. Hyper vigilant. That's the perfect. Yep.
Yep, I actually have something called hypervigilance. Isn't that fun? Like, that's actually a thing. That's actually it can manifest itself so bad to the point that it's part of your mental illness. And like with me, that's why you can't lie to me. Can't lie, because my brain somehow logs all your tiny little body movements, the way you raise an eyebrow, the way you might touch your face. You'll be right back. All right. The way you touch your face. It's and my subconscious logs all this shit. So when somebody lies to me, I know. I don't know how I know, but I know. And then my anxiety makes me play out like 10,000 different scenarios. Here's the kids alone at any given situation. And I'm always like, oh, I knew, I had a gut feeling, whatever. But okay, so back, I sidebar. I do that all the time, and you guys, I sidebar. So yeah, what I really want to talk about is being a mama bear, and the talking about my mental illness and stuff segues into that. Now, I don't become a fucking mama bear because I'm crazy. That's not what happens to crazy, by the way. I don't do that. I become a mama bear because people think that, number one, I am my mental illness and that my children are my mental illness. They think that my kids are already a fucking product of it, and they're not. They're toddlers. They're kids. So when people come on here and they like, literally, my biggest pet peeve, my biggest fucking thing makes me so angry. It literally makes my blood fucking boil. Like, you guys say you worry about me like flying off the handle or getting too emotional or affecting my mental illness. I'm gonna tell you right now, the only fucking thing that affects that is when somebody comes after Finn. Because Rory, straight up, Rory can hold her own. Rory needs no help from me. You have girls like that, right? They need zero help.
Julia, when Julia was Rory's age and even younger than Rory, her fits resulted in her ripping her own hair out. She would throw herself on the ground and just rip her hair out and then pretty much just hand it to you.
And Julia is very successful.
Julia is like straight A's, honors classes, college courses as a senior in high school, 2 jobs, babysit, amazing relationship with her little boyfriend.
Get out.
Like she's a great kid. She's an all-around great kid.
And here's the thing, where like, okay, so I was just saying, like with Finn, I feel very protective because people come at him sideways all the time because he has behavioral issues, because he has overstimulation issues, and I'm told I just have a bad kid. I have a brat. And then Rory, it's like, oh, she's so independent. She's so cute. She's so this, she's so that. And I'm like, yo, she's a fucking bully.
Yeah.
And everybody is literally like, Finn beats his sister. Finn does this. Finn does that. Finn's a horrible kid. Finn's a fucking brat. And I'm literally like, what? Like, what the fuck makes internet land think that just from watching clips of my videos at any given point in time, do they think they know shit about Finn? Because they don't. They don't. They come at me and they're like, you're overreacting. You're projecting. You want to blame your shortcomings on your kids. You want to find something wrong with your child so that you can wipe the blame away from you for not being a good parent.
You remember what I said to you the other day? I literally epiphany. I'm like, I can put myself in parent teacher conferences for Finn 3-4 years from now.
Yeah.
Finn we know that he lacks the focus. He's probably got some ADD going on. That's never been a doubt. ADHD, whatever. So the teacher is, I hear it now. Finn lacks focus. However, he's our classroom cheerleader. He never misses an opportunity to say great job to his classmates. Kind. He's, he shares. He's this. He's going to be that kid. He's going to be the sweetest kid ever that compliments the teacher on her dress she's wearing that day. But he just focus like.
But right there. All these and see, I feel like with Rory, I'm gonna get, oh, like she talks too much in class, oh this, oh that. I don't feel like with her I'm gonna get, she's independent, she's a leader, she's this. I have a feeling I'm gonna get told she's difficult, right? And I'm gonna be like, yeah, well, fucking no shit. And then Finn, I feel like I'm gonna get this fucking underhanded compliment fucking sandwich. Oh, he's this, he's that, blah blah blah. But but he's affecting other students, but he can't sit, but he doesn't do this, but he doesn't do that. And it's like, okay, you don't think I fucking know? I live with him. Like, I live with him. I have issues getting him to do the same things that you guys are supposed to be fucking doing. But you as a school, I'm going to get pissed, sorry, and you're going to relate to this. You as a school have a fucking job to do. And your job is to help my child. A school has resources that I don't fucking have. They have professionals that work for them that have knowledge and training that I don't have because I'm not a professional. I didn't go to college for this. I didn't go get a degree in behavioral health because I had a feeling my kid was going to come out and have fucking behavioral health problems.
Okay, deep breath. Now here's the compliment to Ruth. What sets you apart from most parents is you recognize all of these issues with Finn at 3 years old, and you are doing everything in your power to get him the help now before he goes to school, spends his first 3-4 years at school getting all these terrible teacher conferences, and they're thinking it's something you're not doing right at home and everything else, and before you know it, he's in 3rd grade, and that's when he's finally getting some extra help in school. You're way ahead of the game, and you're also not the parent that's going to sit there and be like, you're full of shit, not my kid, because there's a lot
no,
not my kid.
But that's the thing. And that's where I'm going to come in. And I fucking know they're going to be like, you this, you that, you. And I'm going to be sitting here going, well, what the fuck about you? What about you? Hold on. You standing in the shopping cart? Well, are you supposed to stand in the shopping cart? Sure, it fell and you got hurt. Can you not do that again? Okay, you need a kiss? Okay. I'll be out. Okay. Okay. She got her shirt on backwards, but big girl's dressing herself. But it's like the school is supposed to be it's not just supposed to be someplace where you send your kid to fucking learn. You know, it's not just a place where your child is not just supposed to go there and learn shit out of books. Your child is going there and they're learning social interaction.
Tell you how many times I hear, and I say it myself, the only reason I don't homeschool in this day and age is because I want my kids to get the socialization of being in school.
Yep, and that's somebody, I think it was Bella last night. Bella asked me, like, do you want to homeschool your kids? Because she all the time, she's like, you're so smart. Like, she's always telling me that. She's so sweet. But she's like, you're so smart. Why don't you homeschool your kids? And I said, because I can't offer them the things that a public school can. As much as I don't want to put Finn in our fucking school district, something is better than nothing. Now, granted, I don't like the something choice.
Well, I tell you all the time, Finn is going to thrive with school. With structure.
100%.
We're sitting right now, and then we're going to go to the carpet. The carpet choice, and then we're going to have recess and lunch. That structure is going to be so beneficial to Finn.
And that's the thing. Like, I have people like you know, you've been helping me, but I have people that are like, you don't have enough structure. You have too much stuff. You need to stop yelling. You don't discipline enough. You don't do this enough. Like, what the fuck is gentle parenting? Why aren't you screaming at your kid? Why? And this one gets me all the time. You need to beat your kids. You need to hit your kids. You need to spank your kids. What was the other one? Oh, I got the belt a few times when I was a kid and it straightened my ass right out. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with people that you think that because my child has behavioral issues, because he's hyper, because he has listening problems, that I should just start just kicking his ass? Like, what? Like, why is that a resolution? Why is that the fucking answer?
A consistent parent is way more productive than a parent that just resorts to beating.
Well, not only that, I'm trying to teach my children that you don't hit. Why am I going to teach them you don't hit and then hit them?
Yeah, see, Tats, I am seeing your comments. So you have a doctor's appointment, I think you said tomorrow, to hopefully get a diagnosis. Have you started with I know that there's a technical name for it, but it's like a survey. Like, you do one, his teacher does one, and then you bring him into the doctor and you compare the two and discuss it. Like, have you started at that step?
I'm listening intently to this.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Okay, good.
Yeah, that's like step one. and I will put this out there. This is opinion because I don't want misinformation that on the opinion. But I firmly believe that a good pediatrician before going to med will have you do like Ava, my daughter Ava got put on meds. I believe it was in 3rd grade. Our pediatrician for like a scan of her heart and everything before she gave her a narcotic, because that's what ADHD meds are. Before she
they're a stimulant.
Stimulant. She wanted to check that she had a healthy heart, that she could withstand that kind of thing, and wasn't just throw drugs at her.
Yep. And like that's the I'm trying to be proactive and be ahead of the game. People are saying I'm projecting, but the fact of the matter is that this stems from my childhood and why I'm concerned and how I know our school district is. So let's rewind back to how ADHD and ADD were handled in the 90s. Christine, do you have any experience with this at all?
I literally, my experiences remembering my one and only cousin that's older than me, I'm the 2nd oldest grandkid, was the first person I think I ever knew to be put on Ritalin. And it was like, oh my, everybody like went after my aunt for it. Like, oh my God, why are you doing that to him? He's such a good kid. You're going to stunt his growth. You're going to, that's what I remember from back in the 90s.
Yep. And do you know why you remember that? You remember that, and excuse me, because even though I don't like my brother and I think he's a bag of shit, I'm going to get emotional because I know they did this to other kids.
Right.
So my brother and I were born in the 80s, which means when we were in school, it was the early 90s. Now, we all know that mental health care for adults has been in the toilet, and it's actually been 10 times worse when it comes to children. Now, in the 90s, my brother was in elementary school. My parents in the 90s, no internet, no fucking internet right off the bat, no internet. So limited resources and ways to gain information. The school district came to my mom and said, huh?
You literally had to check a book out of the library. Like that was your research.
Library. And guess what? My dad worked 7 days a week, and my mom lost her license because she had epilepsy when we were young. So how in the fuck are they supposed to do this, right? They want to do what's best for their child, but how are they supposed to do it? And the school fought my parents, and at some point, and this makes me angry because this is what would have been done to Phineas. They looked at my parents and said, your son cannot attend school anymore. And they were like, what? And they said, your son cannot attend school. He has too much of a distraction to other students. He does not sit still. He does not know, like, he just doesn't fucking listen. And my mom was like, what? Like, she didn't know what to do. And they were like, we're going to have to remove him. And my mom was like, you can't remove him from school. What am I supposed to do? We cannot afford a private school, because they were like, oh, private school. And this is the middle of the fucking school year, and they're telling my parents to put my brother into a private school. Oh, well, you can get scholarship because you guys are poor. And when I say poor, I mean fucking poor. And it's like, no, we can't get one right now because it's the middle of the year. They wanted to remove my brother from school in the middle of the fucking year and basically be like, oh, I guess he's fucked till next year, and you guys can try to get him in on a scholarship, but he's not coming back here. So my parents are like, well, what is our choice? And this school flat out said, your son cannot come here unless you have him on a medication. Your son cannot come to this fucking school unless you have him. You are forced to get him a diagnosis. You are forced to put him on a medication. If he's not medicated, he cannot be here. That is the power that public schools had in the fucking 90s. In the 90s.
Yep.
Your child is not coming to school because they're a problem. They didn't even try to help these fucking kids. They literally were like, oh yeah, you can medicate them and send them in, but we don't want them unless they're fucking drugged up.
Because they didn't know shit. They didn't know how to help them.
Yeah.
And I will say, as much as, your platform is like to advocate for mental health and everything else, I have seen a great change in the last couple years with moms especially, that are pushing other moms. It's okay to get on a medication.
Yeah.
It's okay to need a Xanax, whatever. I have seen that so much. I belong to a really, really good mom group on Facebook, and it's mostly moms in my state and in my area. There's like 5,000 of them. And the creator of the group and I are really good friends. It's my favorite mom group. I see it every day, every single day. Moms talking about how they just feel like they're having a breakdown, feel like they're just overwhelmed, and offering great support to each other. And in that support is get a therapist and get support. It changed my life. It changed my life. I see it every single day.
Yeah, and here's the other thing I don't think people recognize or understand. Mom burnout, parent, not even mom. We have stay-at-home dads and stuff, and stay-at-home parents. Burnout for a parent, whether you're a working parent or a stay-at-home parent, is very fucking real. And it's what you're doing all the time. 100% of the time, you are constantly parenting. And getting a break is forget it. Getting a real break, because in your head the entire time all you can think about are the kids.
Yeah, Lori, I think that's kind of everywhere now, but in the 90s there wasn't.
There was no such thing in the 90s as a teacher's aide. But what upsets me is, and I don't think a lot of people understand this, is like, you don't need to have a diagnosed mental illness. You don't have to have a mental illness to have a fucking mental breakdown. You don't have to have a mental illness. Like, you can have no diagnosis. You could literally have no diagnosis as a mental illness. But that doesn't mean at some point in your life there will be unforeseen circumstances that cause you to have an extended period of anxiety or depression. And it is literally not put out there enough that just go see a therapist. And once you work through this period, you're good. Get the help. Like, get on the fucking Xanax for a little while. Get on the Ativan for a little. Like, it may be circumstantial and it may only be temporary, but there's nothing wrong with needing the fucking help. And I feel like as a society, we are so discouraged from reaching out for that help because you shouldn't. You chose to have kids, so you should not get anxious. You should not get depressed. You should not get tired. You shouldn't get angry. And then you bottle all this inside, and it finally fucking explodes, or it eats you alive. But you're not supposed to get help, because if you get help, they're going to take your fucking kids. And they're not going to take your kids.
Right. I think my anxiety came from having kids, like where I can literally pinpoint situations that cause me to have anxiety. It always surrounds with my kids, being around water, being fireworks, fires, I cannot deal with it. I am the one that, like, friends make fun of me because you're such the life of the party, you're this and that, except for you won't get in the pool. I won't get. I have to stand on the beach and watch everybody else in the pool because I'm counting head and I'm making sure he's drowning the entire time.
Christine, you're breaking up. You might need to get off Wi-Fi. Okay, guys, hold on. Christine and I are both going to get off Wi-Fi really quick, so we might freeze. So stand by. All right, let me know. Can you guys hear me okay? You're already 10 times better, Christine. Can you hear me okay?
Can you hear?
Perfect. Yeah, okay. I can hear you now.
Yeah, so my anxiety comes out from
Yep, and I've talked to more people than not that once they have kids, they get.
Yeah, the anxiety comes from that. Yeah, because you're constantly in protect mode, and you don't want anything to happen to them, and that in itself causes anxiety. But also, spin off of the parent burnout, I can't stress enough not to compete with other parents.
Oh God,
there are parents that pack. There are parents that pack the perfect healthy lunch every day and have the Pinterest things for every class party and go to every field trip and volunteer at the school. And there. I've done that. I still do that when I can. And I know Cassie is like a great mom. She is a freaking amazing mom. She's one of the
Cassie is a Pinterest mom. And mind you, nobody here is shitting on Pinterest moms at all. Cassie is a Pinterest mom. The stuff that she's able to do for her son is amazing. The projects that she helps. I mean, she's got a Cricut. She makes these beautiful t-shirts. She makes the Valentine, like she literally hand makes the Valentines for her kids' class. And she's able to do that. And I think that that's awesome. Like one day I was talking to her and I was like, I'll never be a fucking perfect mom. I'll never be a Pinterest mom. My kids will never have fucking bento boxes and these cute little cut sandwiches or whatever. And she says to me, she's like, well, I do that. I do that. And I'm like, I know. And there's nothing wrong with it. I just don't have children. I have a Finn.
That's my point in saying, like, those moms are great moms, but the moms that don't do that are just, and there's like, do not ever stress yourself out. I can't tell you how many times in that same mom group that I was talking about, there'll be a parent that posts a picture of something their kid brought home and they're like, I'm never ever going to be able to compete with this. And it's like, no, don't have to.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Try.
Like Cassie does all those things. So like when oh God, no, she'll tell you, she in the comments is going to be like, oh God, let's not relive this. When I had Finn, I was fucking constantly comparing myself to Cassie, because in my eyes, to me, in my brain, Cassie is the perfect parent. And this is my opinion. To me, Cassie is the perfect fucking parent. She does all the things that I was like, I'm going to do this when I'm a mom. I'm crafty. I love all the things. And then I had Finn, and in the first year, like straight up breastfeeding, I stopped producing. I'm failing. Cassie was able to breastfeed for forever, and I can't. I'm failing. I'm doing horrible. You know, Cassie had all these beautiful outfits for Isaac, and she would get up and she would put him in these fucking darling, cute, adorable outfits every day. And I'm over here going, I'm lucky if I get my kid out of the same fucking pajamas someday. And I was constantly doing that to myself. And she finally got on the phone with me one day because I was forever messaging her, crying onto my phone. What am I doing wrong? I'm not good enough. I'm falling short. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Why won't he stop crying? I'm not comforting my son. And she was like, Ruth, stop. Mm-hmm. Stop. And I was like, stop what? And she said, stop comparing yourself to me. Stop comparing yourself to other parents. You are your own person and your own parent. And right now you're in the first year of doing this and you're trying to figure out who you are as a mom and how you want to parent, and you're gonna fuck it up. She told me, you're going to fuck it up. You're going to make mistakes. And the only thing you can do is learn. The only way you learn how to parent is to fuck up. That's it. Yeah. That's the only way you can learn to be a parent, is by fucking up and going, oh shit. Because there's no way that you just know how to handle every fucking situation that someone is going to throw at you or that's going to arise with your kid. Christine has 7 children. 7 children. I don't think any of the situations that have arisen with any of your kids at separate time, have you ever been like, I was prepared for this?
Oh, hell no. I mean, look, Jesus Christ, last week, 2 of my kids had police in one day. I mean, they didn't do anything wrong. They had issues that involved cops. 2 kids, one day. Holy hell.
Amber, I just want to acknowledge this. Amber, same. Do you know that all my kids had the cutest clothes ever, like Finn did, because Cassie gave me all of those clothes. She gave me all of them. And my first year, so Cassie, I'm gonna throw you out here. My apologies. I'm not gonna dive too far into it. But Cassie had bad postpartum depression. She's very honest about it. So maybe one day we can have her on here and I could talk about that. But she had bad postpartum depression, but she was still getting up, cute outfits, the whole 9 yards, you know what I mean, doing all that stuff. And I'm over here, and Amber just said sometimes my kids are in the same pajamas for days. Are y'all not fucking paying attention to my kids when they're on camera? Because my kids wear the same pajamas for a couple of days sometimes, and they stay in them all day. And here's the fucking thing. If the pajamas are clean, if the baby is clean, if the diapers are clean, do not fucking beat yourself up for the same pajamas 3 days in a row. Do you wear the same pajamas 3 days in a row? Will you wear the same set of pajamas for 3 days in a row? Yeah. Will you sometimes not take your fucking... I just had the same fucking t-shirt on for 2 days because it wasn't dirty.
I wash this bad boy once a week. Seeing this every day.
Yeah. And like,
but okay, I want to take a second while we're doing this in the comments. I want everybody in the comments to name one thing as a mom themselves that they're proud of themselves for. What is your one thing as a mom that you think you are just you're just nailing it?
Yeah. What do you
you're great
as a parent you're nailing? So, okay, personally, I'll start, and then Christine will move on to you. It'll give people some time to get the comments going. The one thing I know that I am absolutely fucking nailing as a mother is raising empathetic kids. Kids that are going to put themselves in somebody else's shoes and to try to understand.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? What do you know you're nailing as a mom?
I think I have great communication with all of mine. And my kids, 7 of mine are super different, but I have good communication with all of my kids. They tell me everything.
Yeah, there you go, Jenny, right there, communicating with your kids. Do you know how important that is? Communication with your kids is probably one of the most important things. My babies come to me to get comfort right there. Yep. You're a safe haven. That means you're doing it right. Your kids are comfortable with you. They're unafraid. Raising a loving and kind child. He literally befriended his bully. Yes. Holy shit. Yeah. That's Isaac. Oh my God. He literally befriended his bully 100%. How do you raise a child that does that? How do you raise a child that steps back and goes, at Isaac's age, because Isaac is young, at Isaac's age, step back and go, you know what? They're being mean to me for a reason. They need my love. They need my friendship.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding? My kids show the greatest respect for others. Respect is such a fucking, you get what you give. You know what I mean?
See, Mom, that's especially in this day and age, and that's hard. That's hard because there's so many outside influences, especially social media and everything else, that are saying one thing and they're seeing all the stuff in the news, and to be able to teach that and have humans that do that all the time, that's great.
Yeah. Okay, Kelly just said, I don't know, I'm surviving, and so are my kids. Don't hit me with, I don't know, I'm just surviving. Like, it's not a fucking accomplishment.
You're doing something right.
Because sometimes surviving is all you can do. And if you're surviving, it means you're not giving up. Mm-hmm. There is nothing wrong with being the mom or the parent that goes, right now, I'm just fucking surviving. Do you not realize that that's not, it is, I am surviving, which means I am fighting. I am advocating. I am doing my best. Surviving isn't just everybody thinks survival is the bare minimum. It's not, because sometimes that basic survival takes every fucking thing from you and out of you. So Kelly, don't just sit there and be, I don't know, I'm surviving. You're kicking ass.
Right now it's big. I know, Kelly, I know bits and pieces, watch your talks and things. You do have it big right now. But the thing is like, I honest to God wake up every morning and my first thought is, oh, I gotta survive another day.
Yeah. I gotta survive. I gotta get through the day.
Nothing about parenting is easy. Nothing.
Oh, no. No, parenting is one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I had to live with an abusive alcoholic. And parenting by far takes the cake for hard things that I have had to do, because nothing can ever, ever, ever prepare you for the things you get thrown as a parent. So BZT mom, teaching them inclusion. People are like animals, we come in different sizes, shapes, and colors. Beautiful.
That was the one
beautiful
I was
thing to teach your kid. Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. Communication. Yep. Communication. Good for you guys. This right here. Do you know what I'm seeing here in these comments? I'm seeing a bunch of people who are cycle breakers. That's what I'm getting from this. I am
Yep.
seeing people who are cycle breakers, because let's take a step back. I see communication and respect a lot.
Rachel,
We weren't communicated to as kids.
she said she's being filtered. I swear I saw her.
No, I saw her comment.
Yeah,
I'm gonna touch on that in 1 second, Rachel.
Equal consequences. Yep, I saw that. Unless there was something else, I
Yep.
saw that.
Yeah. But yeah, communication. We weren't communicated to as child. Do as I say, not as I do. I'm the parent. You need to listen to me. Children are to be seen and not heard. There was no communication. It was literally like, no, you do what I say. And I'm like, yeah, but I have a fucking personality and a mind too. Why doesn't that matter? What? Oh,
Rachel,
it's because I'm a child. Sorry, forgot. I don't matter because I'm a kid.
I would say 80% of my comments are grayed when I'm in the comments and not in the box. They still show up.
But yeah, we do see them. But like, teaching kids communication is a big thing. And the other thing is teaching children, like, if you're going to give respect, it needs to be returned. You can't just blindly give respect. I can't tell you how many times, no, guys, how many times I was told as a child, you have to respect your elders. Why? Some of them are dicks.
Serious, then you did it right. You did something.
Yeah.
Your kids have to hate you. They have to at some point or another. If they don't hate you at some point, then you're coddling them.
PZT, normal is boring. Normal is fucking boring.
Yeah.
So, me too, his friends come from hugs. So, yeah, like, you guys are fucking killing it. Advocating for my kids. That's not just surviving, Kelly. Advocating for your kids isn't just, Christine can attest to this firsthand. Advocating for your children is not just surviving. Christine does it every day. Every day. Like, the shit I have seen this woman go through and persevere through in the last month, I'm sitting here going, well, this shit would break me.
Insane. And you're watching the clock while we're on here, because I know by noon today I should be getting a phone call from the school that I'm not prepared for. It just is what it is. Mm-hmm. Today's another day of advocating.
And that's the thing, like, that never stops, especially when you have a child. Christina, I don't want to take this, what goes on in your home. I don't want to touch too much on it, but I'm going to just talk about Finn. I'm not at advocation level that you are at yet. But advocating for your child. Okay. Advocating for your child when you have a child with learning delays, behavioral health issues, stimulation, or sensory overload issues, you never, ever, ever have a day where you are not advocating for your child to someone else.
Yep.
Finn is 3 and Lance is 44 years old and I'm 36. That 9-year difference is huge, because Lance comes from the generation where parents were still beating the fuck out of their kids, but also where people were starting to realize that's not how you do things. I'm from the generation of stop hitting kids.
Time
now
out.
we have
time out. I don't want to forget Haley. Happy fucking birthday,
happy
baby.
Birthday. Happy birthday, Haley. Happy birthday, Haley.
Happy birthday, Haley.
What about you? Happy birthday, Haley. Good job. Good job. But it's I have to advocate for Finn to Lance.
Oh yeah, all the time with me and Jeff. Yep. It's constant. And I feel like, so Jaden is my sensory processing kid. I always say he's on the autism spectrum, just not diagnosed, whatever. A whole slew of things, learning disabilities, whatever. I feel like when we go somewhere, I have to give like a public announcement.
But yeah, like, get down or you guys are gonna go to bed. And it's literally like Lance doesn't. I'm not even gonna. You mix being born in the 70s, growing up with the 80s, with a fucking TBI. Oh my god! It literally makes me do this multiple times a day. And listen, Lance tries his ass off. But Lance is trying to break a very toxic cycle from his generation, but also his childhood. He's trying to break that. And not only that, he's trying to break bad habits learned in a past marriage.
Yeah.
And he's doing it now at 44 years old with a 36-year-old headstrong, loud, fucking obnoxious tattooed woman going, stop. Stop. You have a child with sensory issues and you're fucking yelling? You know?
I feel that you guys have a good balance though. It's, you know, you are the mom that sit and try to reason with the kids and ask them why they're, you know, what's wrong, why they feeling they're feeling. It's okay to feel that way. And he's the parent that's like, I can do that to an extent, but then after so long, I'm like, no, just fucking stop. And that's
thank you, Beans. But it's, you're not getting a drink in it. You're being crazy. But like, there are times where, like, okay, so we have our filter from our TBI is very. Do you see what? This is why I'm Team Static here, because this happens multiple times a day. Lance's filter is straight up broken. And now, what if anybody isn't familiar with that? You literally have a filter in your head, okay? You have a filter, and your filter does kind of like what you can set Google in an internet browser to, which is filter out keywords that you probably shouldn't say to another fucking human. That is broken on Lance. So sometimes Lance will come out with something, and I'll be on the other side of the house, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, no.
I think you sort of deal with what I'm about to say too, but not, I don't think at all at the level that I do. And this is not to make Jeff sound bad either, because some of it is just, he just doesn't know any better from his own upbringing and even how his mother is still today. But there's a very big separation between my 3 kids, his 3 kids, and our 4 kids. So like this morning, for example, Ava came in our room at like 4:00 in the morning because the dog was like scratching at the carpet. And I was awake and I was hearing it, but I was just like, I just didn't want to get up and deal with it. So she came in there and she stop, you know. So it like fully woke us up. So well, we eventually went back to sleep and we got up when it was time to get the kids ready. And Jeff was like hurting at her. He's like, Ava, why'd you have to wake us up at 4:00 in the morning? And I'm like, hold on a second. Like, you don't say shit to Atlas when he walks in our room and turns every light on at 6:00. You don't say shit to Jaden when he's on his phone in the living room at all hours of the night because he can't sleep because of his processing and he's got the volume on his phone up to like concert mode. You only say something to Ava. It's only Ava. So we were arguing about that.
Yeah. And that's okay. So I dealt with this to an extent because Lance's kids are they're adults.
Yeah.
But they're adults. But I dealt with this even before we had the kids because I was supposed to back burner everything that was going on at one point in time when Lance's children were here. If I had a problem, if I wasn't in a good place mentally, I had to literally swallow it, bury it, and not deal with it when they were here. And that was what was honestly expected of me out of my husband. It got to a point after about 6 or 7 months of living with him and having the kids for visitation, get in the living room. What else is new? 6 or 7 months of me doing that. When I finally finished, no, you can't. No. 6 or 7 months of that before my therapist was like, enough is enough. Stop. And I was like, stop what? She was like, stop what you're doing. Stop it. Go. You need to go in your room because I think you need a timeout. Then you need to go take a seat on the couch. No. Finn, you pulled this and you were on a roll yesterday. I'm not doing it again today. What do you need? Communicate to me with your words. You are not getting your tablet right now. Quiet time is not for another hour. Don't talk to me like that, please.
Mommy, I want something.
What else is new? Listen, think about what you want and then let me know. Get back to me. No, we're not getting that. Get off of that. So, fuck, where was I? Shit. What was I saying?
When your therapist told you to stop doing it.
So I was supposed to back burner all that, and my therapist finally told me to stop, and I was like, well, what the fuck should I do? And she said, stop doing everything. And I was like, wait, what? And she was like, stop doing everything. And I was like, what do you fucking mean stop? I can't stop doing everything. My house is going to go to shit. And she's like, okay, then the house goes to shit. And I'm like, I'm a fucking control freak and you want me to let my house go to shit. And she said, that's your problem. You're doing everything. You're doing what you're told. And I was like, yucky. Don't tell me what to do. And she was like, yeah, which is why I don't know why the hell you're doing this. So I stopped. I stopped doing everything. And everything for us in the beginning was always my kids. And I finally got to a point where I said, dude, your kids should not come before me 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And he looked at me like I was some kind of fucking monster. What do you mean my kids aren't supposed to come before you 100% of the time? Well, bro, they're fucking not. They're not supposed to come before me 100% of the time because I fucking matter too, my guy. Mm-hmm. And my life, I was not put here on this earth to do everything for your children and to make up for other people's shortcomings when it comes to your children. That is not what I was put here to do. They are not my children. I did not make the decision to do these things. Did I make the decision to be with somebody that has children and work to the best of my ability to be a good adult figure in their life? Yes, I fucking signed up for that. Did I sign up to play mom but get shit on all the time? No, the fuck I did not. And I'm not putting up with it anymore.
Yep, that's where I'm at.
I stopped getting up because I was driving the kids to school every morning. There's literally a bus stop that's a 5-minute fucking walk up my road. Literally. I stopped driving them to school. I was like, no, I'm fucking driving you to school anymore. Get the fuck out of bed and get on the bus. Mm-hmm. They were coming home from school and I had to make them snacks. No. Go in the kitchen. Your fucking legs aren't broken. And now, mind you, these are teenagers. I'm not talking about small kids. These are teenagers. And right. I am expected to be stepping up and doing everything for these kids. Like, number one, they're mine. And number two, they're toddlers. Mm-hmm. And I stopped. I just stopped. And literally nobody knew what the fuck to do. This was the first actual boundary that I set in my life and nobody knew what to do because they were like, what do you mean no? Mm-hmm. What do you mean no? And I'm like, yeah, no.
Why do you think two of Jeff's kids don't talk to me right now? Because the only time they're talking to me is if they wanted something or they eat something or their mom wasn't cutting it for whatever it was that they needed. And then when I started picking up on it and saying no, all of a sudden I got blocked on all social media, blocked on their cell phones. They want nothing to do with me. But just wait. If they need something, or as soon as it's a birthday or a holiday, a gift waiting here for them, they'll come back around.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We have two of Liz's kids that don't talk to us right now. One of them doesn't speak to us because whatever. The other one doesn't speak to us because we were the parents with fucking rules. We were the house with rules. You couldn't do whatever the fuck you want. You couldn't say whatever you want. You couldn't come and go as you please as you want. It wasn't like that. At their mother's house, and then, by the way, in no way am I shitting on how their mother parents them. Do I agree with it? No, but I am not her. They are not my kids. I don't have to like it. I don't have to agree with it, but I have to be respectful of her.
Right, absolutely.
End of story. But what I can control are what the standards in my house are and how we do things in my home. Mm-hmm. And I say my home, I might have people being like, oh, your home, don't you live there with your husband? I say my home because my parents own this house and I grew up here, so it's a bad tendency to just be like, my home. But I found out after much talk with Lance that the reason I was being treated like that, you need to go in the living room, please. The reason
The reason you were being treated that way.
I know. I hate when he jumps the gate and does this to me because it pisses me off. No, I cannot fill up some coffee. I need you to stop climbing the gate or no fireman Sam fire truck. So go sit down and watch your transfer truck. No. No. Suck. Work, brain, work. Work.
Yeah, she did, Cass.
Yeah, I can control what I do in my house, but not theirs. And I had to come to terms with that. But I also had to learn that, and this is where I'm like, I was a toxic person. I had to learn that you can't control people.
Yeah.
Because I did take my meds. It's just, when Finn hops the gate, it pisses me off. When I can control here, but not people. And I had to learn that because I was the toxic person that literally would fucking manipulate. Put it away then. I was the type of person that would manipulate people to get them to do what I wanted or to control them. And control them. And I had to learn to not do that because it's not right to do that. And I was literally trying to, in the beginning, make Lance and the kids live a certain... Stop it! Room, time out now, go. I'm not playing around. Yeah.
No, you're not, Finn.
Chair. Nope, chair.
No, I don't want to go to the chair.
You're gonna sit in your chair. If you're not gonna listen, I'm just gonna go turn the TV off and make you sit on the couch. Go. We're gonna sit on the couch for timeout. We're not gonna move. But I would manipulate people to control them to get them to do what I want. And it's because I had anxiety. I had anxiety when I didn't have control of the situation. So my way to handle my anxiety and remedy my anxiety was to manipulate other people. And I was trying to do that without realizing I was doing it. And I was met with a lot of resistance and a lot of pushback and a lot of force. It literally almost cost me my relationship with Jada. If you guys can believe that. Because Jada would not act the way that I thought she should be acting. She was not handling the things the way that I thought she should be doing. And I didn't take into account that Jada was her own person with her own feelings. I saw her, mind you, no experience with kids. I thought she was just being a dumb fucking kid that didn't want to listen.
Okay, but chances are she probably was to an extent.
Yeah, she was. But at the same time, I had to realize, I need to let this kid fuck up and learn.
Yeah. Well, and as a parent, even as just a good human, you don't want to see somebody fuck up and learn and suffer the consequences. It's hard to watch. You want to fix it.
It is very difficult to watch. Yep.
You want to fix it.
That was my biggest problem with Jada was when she was a teenager. So, okay, she's not going to get mad at me for this. At least I hope she won't because she owns it. Jada's attitude when she was a teenager was in the fucking toilet. And I know everybody is going to be like, oh, all teenage girls were like that. No. All teenage girls are not like my bonus kids. They're not. They're not. Jada has an attitude the size of fucking Texas. Her face says everything. She's got the worst resting bitch face I've ever laid eyes on in my entire life. She's headstrong and she's independent, but she thinks not anymore, but she used to think that she had the answers for everything and she knew everything, right? Very common for a teenager, except for Jada was a bitch. She was a bitch and we were stupid.
Yeah.
We were dumb. She knew everything and we were dumb. And that's normal, but damn. And the way Jada acted, you would have thought in high school that she was a bully and that she was the meanest fucking person on the face of the planet, especially the way she treated her father and I for a long time. Jada is one of the kindest people I have ever met in my life.
And Jada also had, I'm sure, whether she realized or not, or wants to admit or not, I'm sure resentment for when her parents divorced.
And she's very angry. Rightfully so.
Right.
And very hurt. Right. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
And when you take that and you add it to a kid who's already not having the best home life, the anger is unmanageable for a child, even a teenager.
And it's probably displaced anger too. She's projecting it onto the wrong people at the wrong time, and you know, where as a parent, the hard part with that is you want to sympathize and you want to understand, and you want to like cut her some slack because of your own guilty conscience or whatever, but you also don't want to allow disrespect. Like these are, at least for mine and Jeff's perspective, my kids, his kids, whatever. I have always demanded respect out of my kids to Jeff, to any adult for that matter. Whereas Jeff's ex-wife has never taught her kids to respect anybody. They think they're superior to everybody and they're owed something. So, and Jeff, smack dab in the middle, knows what the right answer is, knows what he should be doing, but he's afraid of his kids in the aspect of, if I come down hard on them or expect anything from them, they just won't talk to me anymore.
Yep. And that's,
I can't stand it.
We went through that. We don't have crackers. So I went through that too. And we're still going through it.